This meeting is being recorded.
So you might have heard about business intelligence, like in the market, like we do have MSBI, business intelligence, Power BI. So all of these are business intelligence tool. So before understanding what exactly is Power BI as a tool, you need to know in what area, what is the purpose of using Power BI, like what could be achieved using Power BI as a tool. So you might have heard about business intelligence. So it is one of the technology or a process we can call using which like we will be converting raw data into a meaningful information, and we will be utilizing that information that we have to improve our business. So, this whole process of converting the raw data into meaningful information and utilizing it for the benefit of the organization, this entire process is referred to as business intelligence. Like, for example, you're running a company or you're running a business. So, whatever the data you get, so that will not be in a structured format, right? So, you'll get the raw data from different means. You can get it through PDFs, you can get it through Excel, you can get it through a database or from different servers. So, all of this data will not be in a required format, in a structured format. So, just by looking at that raw data, you won't be able to make any sense of it. Every company will be having data, like huge amounts of data it will be having, but those organizations which make use of that data in a proper sense, so they will be the trending organizations within the market, so they will be the competitors in the market. So that's why we call data as an asset, and business intelligence will help us to transform that data into a meaningful way, so that by looking at that data, organization will be able to make some kind of decisions. So if I am running a business, for example, so I'll be getting data through multiple means. So I'll process that data and structure it and convert it into a meaningful way, and then I will work with this structured data to generate some kind of reports, because not every person in the organization will be having time to look at the entire data and understand that data and then later proceed. So management leadership will not be having that much time, so we will be preparing some reports and dashboards for them, so which will tell the story of the data that we are working with, what that company is having, what kind of asset with the data that they have, so on what factors they could focus, where exactly their business is lagging, so which where if in which area they should focus in order to gain more insights. So we will be generating reports and dashboards, like which through which we will be telling the story of that data to the end users. So this is the whole purpose of business intelligence. So we do have various tools to um, work with business intelligence, like we have Power BI, we have Tableau, then we do have ClickView. So there are multiple tools. Um, So today our focus will be about Power BI, and I'll also tell you like why Power BI has got such a huge market trend these days. So we'll also focus on that part as well. So before going in depth about Power BI, so you need to understand what kind of answers you could provide, what kind of solutions you could provide to the business using the business intelligence as a means. So business intelligence will help us to answer all these five W's, like what happened in your business because of which you have faced losses, what is happening, why did it happen, what will happen, what do I want to happen. So you're running a business from the past 3 to 4 years, but you're not seeing any profits. So, do you feel like continuing that business? No, right? So, using business intelligence, using the raw data or historical data that you have, so you will be able to understand what has exactly happened in your business. So, where is the area that you need to focus? Like, so it will help us to answer what happened so that we are facing these losses. Then the next important question, what is happening? So this is the most important topic which any organization would be focusing on. because if any company fails to cope up with the market trends, like current trend, so it will fail to be a competitor within that market. You can take example of Nokia itself. Like in this smartphone era, Nokia has uh, been behind in the business. So if you look at Samsung, if you compare any smartphones, like what brands do you prefer to go with? Either you'll go with Samsung or iPhone or anything. So since Nokia has failed to keep up with the current market trends, so it is lagging in the business. So even using business intelligence, we would be able to answer this one important question, like what is happening in the current market, so that accordingly you can prepare your product and you can launch that product in the market and you can be successful in your business. Then the third question is, why did it happen? This is also important thing that we need to focus. You have launched a product into the market, but you are not seeing enough sales or enough registrations for that product. So you need to know what is that thing that is lagging in your product, that is lacking in your product. So to understand that also, this is one problem that will help us. Okay. So what are the features that are lacking in your product? So you can conduct some surveys, you can take that data, you can prepare reports, and you can present it to the business as a solution. Okay. And this, see, everybody will be having curiosity, like what will happen today? What will happen in the next day? What will happen in the next month? Um, Everybody, please be on mute. Sangeeta, could you please put yourself on mute? Okay, so everybody want to forecast the things. Like you're running a business and you want to know what would be your profits today, what would be your profits in this week, in the next month. So that kind of forecasting could be done using business intelligence, and Power BI is one such BI tool which will help us to do the forecasting in a better manner. And when you have answers to all these questions, when you know what kind of data you have in your organization, so you will be able to answer this question, like what do I want to happen? You can design your business in such a way that you will be keeping with the market trends, you'll be able to gain profits, you could be a top organization or top product within the market. So that's why in any organization, if you take, you'll be having a separate department called business intelligence, BI. So every organization will be recruiting BI, like business intelligence developers or business analysts, in order to make proper use of the data that they have. Okay, now let's move into what is Power BI. So basically, it's one of the Microsoft product. It is also one of the reporting tool. We also call it as a business intelligence tool, self-service BI tool. Why the term self-service BI means? Self-service BI means usually you will not require any of the IT person in between, okay, to work on the part. Like I provide report to the end users, so end users will be able to interact with those reports. So that kind of functionality, like they would be able to apply their own set of filters, they would be able to filter the data according to their requirements. So such kind of technology provider, we call it as a self-service BI tool. So Power BI is also one such tool, and moreover it is a product of Microsoft. So basically we can compare this Power BI to advanced Excel. So in Excel, we do have different components, right? We have Excel pivot, then we have like Power Pivot, Power Query, Power View. So all of these components combined together along with another component called Power Maps. So Microsoft has designed this Power BI to provide end-to-end business solutions in the reporting. Okay, that is Power BI. And if we open Power BI as a tool, I'll show you like what all it has got. So before that, let's understand the architecture of any of the business intelligence tool and also its respective relationship with the data warehouse. So like I mentioned, once you start a business, you'll be getting data from different sources. Like for any of the process, the first step would be the data preparation part or data collection part. So you can receive the data from multiple sources, like from the files, from the PDFs, through servers, through databases, through different. So once you receive all of this data, so you need to host that data in some environment, because you might not be receiving a clean data. You might not have the proper data types defined for that particular data. So the first step would be the data preparation, wherein you will be cleaning the data, you will be transforming it according to your requirements, and you will be storing that data and loading that data into the tables into your respective servers. So this whole process, we call it as a staging environment. So this ETL process will take place using one of the ETL tool. That could be SSIS, that could be Talent, that could be like Informatica. So any of the ETL tool they would be taking. Your database team would be working on this part, wherein they will be doing the extraction, transformation, and loading of the data into respective data warehouses. So this data warehouse is nothing but a place where all of your data will be hosted, because in order to analyze any of the trend, you would require access to the historic data, like yesterday's data, last month's data, last year's data. So all that data will be hosted in an area called data warehouse, like a storehouse. You'll be having storehouses, right, wherein you'll be storing your grains. In the similar way, we will be having the data stored in the data warehouse environment. And whenever required, according to our requirements, we will be pulling in the data from this data warehouse into respective servers, like SQL Server databases. And through SQL, we would be connecting through our reporting tool. That could be Power BI, that could be Tableau, that could be ClickView, that could be Excel, anything. So, and once the data has been brought into your respective visualization tool, there you would be working on the reports and you would be presenting it to your business users. So this is the general architecture about any of the business intelligence tool and also your respective data warehouse. Okay. Now, if we go deep into Power BI, so this is basically the desktop application that we are viewing. Okay, so all the components of Excel along with another two components called Power Maps, Power Q&A, combinedly we call it as a Power BI. So if we look at the components of Power BI, we have got three different components. Like we have Power BI Desktop, which is a desktop application. Then we have Power BI Service. We could also call it as software as a service. So it's the cloud platform. It's a web-based application. No installation is required. And the third component is the Power BI mobile. So if you open your mobile, if you open any of the banking apps, so you'll be seeing some kind of reports. So even using Power BI, you could generate mobile-based reports so that users will be able to access the reports from any place they are. Okay, these are the important components. And if we take Power BI desktop, so it's a desktop application, Windows application, which you could install it free of cost, and also you can work on it without any charges. Okay, it's absolutely free to work. But Power BI service is a paid application for which we need to have certain kind of license, wherein that's a cloud environment, like wherein you'll be interacting with the end users, you'll be sharing the reports and all. Okay, so in any of the BI tool, the first step would be to bring the data, required amount of the data into your respective tool. So we do have that option available in Power BI also. The first step is to get the data, make a connection to data. So Power BI by default it offers more than 100 plus connectors to connect with. Like you can connect to Excel, you can connect to SQL Server databases, you can connect with Azure platform, you can connect to Power Platform also. Like you can connect to online services, like you can bring the data from Instagram, from Facebook, from any of the application. And you can also bring your data from web. You can make connection to Oracle. So depending on your requirements, you can connect to any of the source, and you can based on the project that you're working, if Excel is your source, then you can connect to Excel. If SQL is your source, you can connect to SQL. If Azure platform is your source, you can also make a connection to Azure environments. Okay, in the architecture of Power BI, the first step would be to bring in the data, like collection of data sources. Okay, once we bring in the data into Power BI, the next step would be what? The data cleaning or the data shaping activities needs to take place. So uh, if we take Power BI as a tool, so if you go to transform data, you have this component called Power Query Editor. So this is like a backend application for Power BI. So this works as a ETL tool for Power BI, wherein you can extract the data from different sources, and you can transform that data, you can clean that data as per your visual requirements. Okay, you can change the data types, you can remove the unwanted columns, you can add other columns if required, you can do all kind of calculations, and then you can finally push that data into your Power BI application. So let's connect to any of the data source and see. So I'll take Excel as my source. So I'll just pick this data. So now Power BI will make a connection to the Excel file in your local desktop. So you can also preview the data, like what is the data that you are bringing into, and you have to check this box. See, you see two options. One is load, another one is transform data. If you click on load, the whole of the data, if it is a raw data also, it will be loaded into Power BI. If you click on transform data, it will take you to the Power Query Editor, wherein you can first clean the data, then bring in that clean data into Power BI. So if I click on transform data, see here, the data will be loaded, and you can do any kind of transformations here. Like if you want to remove a column, you can remove this column. You can clean up the data. You can change the data types. So this is date and time. So I can change the data types. And I can bring in this transform data into my Power BI front end application. So once the data has been loaded, you can see the data. Like this is the table name, and these are the list of the available columns. See, whenever Power BI makes a connection to your respective data source, once it brings in that data into application, that data will be stored as columnar structures. So if you want to work on any of the visualization, you can choose any of the visual from this pane. You can drag and drop the fields. Like I do have this date. So I can simply drag and drop. I can make it to another visualization. So it's a simple drag and drop functionality in Power BI. So in order to bring this data into this drag and drop functionality, we would be doing the data cleaning and transformation activities in Power Query Editor. So that's the first component of Power BI desktop. That is Power Query Editor. And you can see here three icons over here towards your left. This is called report view. This is called data view. And this third icon is called model view. Okay, so report view is the place where you would be working with the visualizations part. So you can choose any of this visualization according to your requirements, and you can make use of these columns, and you can create that visual. Then the second view that you have is the data view. So this is the place where you can preview your data. Okay, whatever the data you load, if you want to see each row wise data, you can preview it from the data view tab. And if you want to create any new column or new tables or new measures, you will be able to create it. See, Power BI doesn't require any of the coding knowledge, any of the prior coding knowledge, but it uses a language called DAX, DAX. So it's a simple formula based expression. Like if you have some knowledge about Excel, Power BI also make use of the DAX, which will be similar to Excel formulas. Like for example, if I want to get the total sum of publisher payout. So I can take a new measure. I can write the formula. So I can say I want sum. This will calculate the sum for me and it will give me the total sum. If I want to calculate the average, then I can also calculate the average. So according to your requirements, you can define your own formulas using DAX and you can get your required data. You can use it for your visualization purpose. Okay, and the third icon that you see here is a model tab. See, when you have a single table, okay, you'll be getting all the data from single table. What if you have data coming from different tables, like you have data coming from two tables or three tables, four tables. So you need to have some kind of relationship established between those tables, right? So for that purpose, we would be creating models, like we will be arranging those tables and establishing the relationships between those tables using this model icon. Like in the data model, we will be creating the Power BI models and we'll be working. So why this data modeling is important is because see, if I filter out on any of this, so if I click on any part of this, see, you can see the other part is getting highlighted. So in order to generate this kind of interactions between the visuals, we need to have some kind of connectivity between tables, right? That could be established using this data model tab. So this data tab and data model tab together, we call it as a Power Pivot for Power BI. And this report view is nothing but the Power View, wherein we would be working with the visualizations part and we would be generating the reports in this particular section. So these are the three components like Power Query Editor, Power Pivot, Power View. Then you see here the map visualizations, like you have map, filled map, then you have some kind of AI features enabled, like you have key influences, you have decomposition. So all of these things together make a component called Power Maps. So till now we have covered four parts. Then the fifth component that we have in Power BI desktop is Power Q&A. Q&A is nothing but question and answer. So it is also one of the artificial intelligence visual, AI related visual. So wherein if you ask any question here, so the answer will be given to you in the form of a visual. Okay, if I say top channel by publisher payout. So it will give me the answer PPC. If I ask any other question, see, I'll get the answer in the form of a visual representation, which I could convert into a normal visual and I can use it in my report. So we will be designing certain set of questions and we will be having this visual implemented in the report. So user can put any of his question and he can get the answer in the form of a visual format. So this is the artificial intelligence tool where we are not doing anything, but just we are putting a question to that visual and it is giving us the answer. So these are the five important components of Power BI desktop. So the first component is Power Query Editor, then Power Pivot, Power View, Power Maps, Power Q&A. Okay, I have done all of my development in this Power BI desktop. Now I want to share this report to my end user. So if I want to share it, either I have to share this file. If I share this file, no, what happens? The end user also needs to install Power BI application within their machines, and then only they will be able to see it. But most of the end users will not be interested to install any of the application within their machines. So we do have a platform called Power BI Service. So wherein once a report has been developed, we can publish this report into Power BI Service and we can share it with the end users. So without the installation of any other application, they will just be able to see this through web. So let's see how that environment looks. So let me first share this. Okay, if I push publish, so it will ask you to which destination you want to push this file into. Let me choose my workspace. So this has been published into Power BI service. Now let's open. Already I have it open, but I'll show you like what is the extension or the link that you have to. You have something called app.powerbi.com. So this is the preview of the Power BI service. Like once you have organizational credentials, okay, so you'll be able to log in into service only if you have organizational credentials. So it will provide you a 60 days free trial version. So you'll be able to access all the features for free for the first 60 days. Then after that, you need to go for any of the license, like a pro license or premium per user license, according to your organization requirements. One kind of license will be provided to you. So this is the home environment wherein you can see like the frequently opened reports, what all reports are available within your workspaces and all. So these are the workspaces. So one will be your personal workspace wherein you can share your content. Like once you have developed, if you want to see how it looks, so you can share it into your workspace. Only you will be able to access that. Until and unless you share that report with someone else, they won't be able to see any of that stuff. Then you'll be having some kind of organizational workspaces as well, like marketing workspace, for example. So based on your requirements, we will be having production workspaces, non-production workspaces. So accordingly, we will be pushing our files. So here, once we publish, so without installing any other application, we will be able to, this is the report that we just pushed. So you'll be able to see that report over here. So once we share this report to any of the end user without installing any application, they will be able to access these reports from the web itself. So Power BI service is more of an environment wherein you will be interacting and collaborating with your end users. And also it's a place where you will be configuring security to your reports because data is an important aspect. So we need to protect that data. So that kind of security, securing the reports, privacy requirements and all will be set up in Power BI service itself. Okay, then we do have third component, that is Power BI mobile. If you go to this view section, you can see here mobile layout. So wherein you can arrange your visuals in this layout. So once you open the app, how you want to see the visuals layout. So all of that could be set up here, and you can generate your mobile layouts like a web mobile application you can create. Okay, this is the architecture and workflow of Power BI. First thing is you need to bring the data. Then you have to transform that data and shape that data. After that, you need to model that data and you have to work on the visualization part. And the final step is to publish that report in Power BI. So these are the 5 important steps that we would be doing as part of the Power BI development. So in most of the cases, you will be asked to work only on the reporting environment. You'll be having a supporting database team who will be working on the backend part, like collecting the data from different sources and structuring that data and loading it into databases. All of this will be done by other team, and you'll be working on the reporting part. So if you have any questions or if you have any doubts, I can take them now.